Yo.
You.
All right. What's good, everyone? How's everyone feeling tonight? How you feeling?
Blessed and highly favored. You know, God has shined down his grace upon us so that we could all be here today. You know what I'm saying? I'm so pleasured and honored to sit with such a distinguished panel of greatness. You know what I mean? Hopefully not forcibly taken over by some Caucasian company. Let me stop. Let me calm down.
Oh yeah, that stuff seeping out already. It's seeping out already. I'm feeling the energy though. Iris, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Feeling blessed as well. And I'm very hype about tonight because I have very strong feelings about what we're going to discuss. So,
okay. All right. Dad Panther?
Feeling good.
All right. Somebody is watching the clock. We appreciate you keeping us on track, Dad Panther. So tonight, another exclusive special real reviews discussion. We're talking about Movie Pass, Movie Crash, which is a documentary that has recently been released on HBO Max, or Max, if you will. It's basically the rise and fall of the popular app or service Movie Pass, which end up being taken over by some people that didn't have the same interests aligned and end up leaving the company bankrupt and under investigation. That's basically what this documentary is about. I'm actually pretty anxious to talk about it too. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this feature review going.
Flicks to the movie theater.
It was the greatest thing ever.
Movie Pass.
Movie Pass.
Movie Pass.
The popular movie ticket app.
Movie Pass. We remember them. Whatever happened to those guys? We thought this could reinvigorate the movie-going business.
Any movie, any theater, any day. I went to the movie theater 428 times.
Movie Pass doubled the revenue in theaters.
We were worth $80 million plus.
We had a product that no one could stop.
Mitch was making it.
My heart. All right. So normally we would do initial impressions and then go into everything, but I'm not going to do initial impressions. I do want to say that this was something that was brought to our attention by, again, Mastermind of the Indie Show, which you can see every Tuesday live at bbclife.com. Great show, and then you can also get to the after party on our Patreon. The after show. I'm sorry, I said after party. Well, I mean, it's still after party. Yeah.
It's a party, baby.
It's a party. Yes. So, Mastermind actually wanted us to give this a watch and a thorough review, a real review. So, please be honest in your feels, which I know I shouldn't have to ask, but let's also be respectful. Iris, no, I'm joking. See, look at her face. Yeah, so we're not gonna do initial impressions. I just kind of just want to just start kicking this thing off, and if you guys don't mind, I kind of want to.
I just want to go right in and kick it his back in. We don't need to put this ass kicking. Let's just go ahead.
Well, I feel like you guys are gonna hit more on it than I am, so I just want to go ahead and just get mine out of the way and just let y'all be free with y'all's review. All right. So this documentary for me, I felt like it was very powerful. I felt like it was done very well. And one of the biggest things that I love about it, one of my strongest highs, is that it told the entire story. A lot of times you get a documentary that's one-sided, and when they try to get the other side's perspective, they give you the verbiage that they decline to answer, or they gave a very vague response to the accusations. But in this one, we actually got multiple parties on both sides involved, and we got their perspective, and you got to see some of them have to sit there and admit that they messed us up, it was something that I remember when the article came out that the original creators of Movie Pass were black males, and then shortly after that was released, things started changing dramatically. Because I remember when someone sent it to me, he's like, "Hey, you know, did you know this?" And I was like, "No, actually, I didn't, because I actually had Movie Pass myself." And then, and as after that came out, and then there was a shift of power in the background. And I had no idea that this stuff was happening, but it's really it's sad, but it's also inspiring to see that, you know, if you're actually willing to take the steps, if you're actually move at a certain pace and you're really being strategic, you know what I'm saying, that you could build something from nothing. All right. But then it's also sad to see that when you try to work with people that can actually get you to the next level, that they're not willing to leave you in that position. They feel like they can do it better. And they feel like, you know, that they're the only ones that knows what's right. And of course, we see the company ends up being in a situation with. So it was like, it was inspiring, and then it was very sad, and it was very painful at the same time. And even though this documentary is really just about the way the company fell and the position that it fell to, and in its rebirth, it also basically just shows you how there is a level of what I call unconscious racism. Like, I mean, some people may want to say it is just full blown, but a lot of these people I notice, especially, not trying to put myself in a compromised position, but I rub shoulders with some of these people where they're okay with you and your existence and your success or whatever, but there is a embedded, like, subconscious hesitation to let you lead things, or they're just automatically kind of guarded on how much power or flexibility will give you, and they don't really see it that way. It's not malicious. It's just almost like they're conditioned that way. And I feel like that these guys came in there, saw a good opportunity. Well, one of them was definitely scheming, but we can get into that later. But I feel like one of the people that they brought in saw an opportunity, trying to maximize the situation, and just felt like that it was just embedded in him that I'm gonna have to bring in some people of a different stature in order to take this to the next level, and that ended up being a downfall. I don't think it was worthily saying, let's get these brothers out of here. You know what I'm saying? So it was interesting to see how there was some racism in decision making, but it wasn't like intentional. I think it was more subconscious. But anyway, that's some of the things that really like impacted me as I watched it. But I'm sure you guys are gonna give us the whole rundown. And by the way, this is not something that you should feel. I mean, we definitely don't want to say exactly too much, but it's a true story. It's documentary. It's out there. We know that the company failed, so it's not really a spoiler-free review. But let's also, just in case somebody doesn't know the story, let's try not to give too much. You know, we do know the company rose, and we know it failed, and we know that there was some management in there that took it to a bad place. But let's try not to do too deep on the spoilers. All right. So I want to toss it to the Dad Panther next. Dad Panther, would you go ahead and let us know what this documentary, how it made you feel, what it do for your highs and lows? Just go ahead and give us your review.
Okay, so I would say the only low, I'll say two lows, would be it's the same story. And I know we mentioned that if you check a previous indie film that we did, which was, I think, Two Sons to the Grave, where sometimes we'll say it's the same story that we've heard, it's just told differently. And without spoiling anything, unfortunately, it's the same story. The other thing I thought that was bad, or, a takeaway in a negative way about this movie, was that it ended. And I will say the same thing that what Lingo was saying. It gave me feels, and to have a documentary where you're not necessarily emotionally attached to it, it's not the same thing as watching like a documentary on your favorite wrestler growing up, or a movie star, or a band, or something like that, where you're attached to it and so you want to be a part of it. Mastermind set us down a road in which I didn't know any of this that happened. Like, everybody I think has heard of Movie Pass in the card. I thought about getting it and didn't. I heard about the certain festivals and I heard about the stock options and all the other stuff, but it was just in the background. And so to go through moments where you're like happy and sad and angry and resentful, like all these emotions were coming out, and I was like, what the is going on? So that right there, I would say the ending. But even with that same breath, that was a plus to be, hey, look, that it gave you those feels. I thought it did a really good job of not shying away from all the issues, whether good or bad, allowing you to make an educated, judgment on how you feel about it when you walk away. I thought it did a really good job of updating everything currently. So when you walk away from this, you get the full story, the origin story, and where you're at currently right then and there. I thought it was a nice look for a documentary. I felt it was clean, it was crisp. They did things to kind of let you know who was who, and at the same time bring you into something, whether it was using old footage, whether it was kind of making a comical joke of it or making a movie reference. I thought that was cool. And at the end of everything, I end up looking at this and saying, we see this all the time, not with just this situation, but our favorite restaurants, our favorite neighborhoods, our favorite type of music, certain things where it's just like you see this constantly done over and over again. So we already know it's a true story. And the craziest thing about this that I'll say that this is the three pros, however you want to take it, is they changed the game that currently is still being used right now and being marketed all over the place, whether you have AMC and all these other services. They changed the game. It showed how the game is rigged. And then the more like just it also showed that we the people have all this power. Once again, another documentary that shows we have the ability to sway judgment and make movements, but we don't really pay attention to it. So that's my highs, that's my lows.
Awesome. JS1, would you like to go ahead and jump in there, sir?
It's a struggle to talk about this film without talking about this film. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's all right. Highs and lows. I mean, I really enjoyed the documentary. Like, I thought they did a good job telling you the story. I felt like they kept the budget down, using a bunch of stock footage and a lot of old film footage. I definitely saw that. I definitely getting the top brass to speak so candidly about these very important moments, even to the point where some guys pretty much incriminated themselves in the documentary, which could be a detriment down the road. And to get some of the low-level employees, I felt like that was super important. I mean, the amount of information, even audio, that just listening to audio from meetings and personal settings, I'm bewildered. You know what I'm saying? At how they were able to gather so much to present such a clear picture of what happened from beginning to its current state. I would only push back on Dad Panther's review just a smidge to say the ending actually has an upswing. That was very unexpected. That I was like, oh wow, that's fucking cool. Like, for real. The thing that I don't like is that they pumped so much on everything that was down and then just kind of piffed at the end. I thought, but if I may say, I feel like there's a through line of racism even in this documentary and the way it was done, like the way they depicted the black guys, their backgrounds, where they videotaped them. You know what I mean? You can see they just, all right, nigga, sit here and tell us your story. And then like you look at the white people that are interviewed and the opulence in which that they're sitting, and how they're shot and, the amount of time they're given to talk versus the black crowd. I mean, like, and I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm black, so I can't help but to nuancely break every ounce of this down and go, wow. Like, I mean, because there's a point where I'm like, why do these guys look so rich? And then I'm like looking at the black. That was a moment where it really hit me. I was like, wait a minute, why they got these two black dudes looking like they're some broke niggas? Like, I'm like, this is just a simple camera shot. This has nothing to do with their money. But it's even done. I don't know who decided to do this documentary. I don't understand if that was intentional so that we would be more. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to use the word. Should I use a less complicated word than opulent? But sorry. But
no, I was saying good job.
Oh, so anyway, it was depressing. You know what I mean? And this is one of the reasons why I hate dealing with a lot of anything that has to do with because it's like, no matter how they try to flip it and tell the story, it's always the, poor black people getting trampled on. And and like the admittance of, well, I mean, they didn't have any protection. There's nobody that they could. I'm sitting here in my mind trying to rack my brain. Well, who could they have gone to for money? Like, they knew everybody. Oh, but we're fucking black, so it doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter how smart you are. Doesn't matter how educated you are. Doesn't matter how you fixed. Oh, they threw a boulder in front of you, and you turned that motherfucker into a wheel to run your business. I mean, like, they got hit in the beginning with a huge obstacle, and then use that obstacle to create something completely new and original that they drew a patent on. And you're like, oh, you would think at that point they would be enough to earn some respect. Then I go, well, that's probably the reason why we need a Diddy to go start shooting up niggas and beating the crap out of people, so that niggas won't disrespect you. Because being two nice, educated black men just ain't enough to not get effed over. I'm sorry. I'm going down. I'm spiraling. My bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah.
Let me bring it back. And my bad, Dad Panther. I didn't mean to bring the D word into the game. My bad. So we'll just erase that. But Diddy, nigga, Diddy. So anyway, what I will say in closing is that the purpose of a documentary is to disseminate information, to present a story, get you emotionally invested, and to open up for you to interpret what you feel like, who's good, who's bad. They don't really take a, I mean, they kind of tell you who's bad and who isn't, but it's not done in a malicious way. It's kind of, hey, this is what the facts are, whatever. So if we're going to say documentary, great documentary, do I still dislike the documentary and how it was done? I feel like we could have shown a little bit more respect. And I guarantee if I ever meet the writer and the director of this, they're going to be like, no, we really wanted to highlight. You ain't want to highlight shit. You saw a great opportunity to tell a story about something that was super popular. And the same way those young black men were used in their creation and tossed to the side, you use these two black guys and you toss them to the side. So that's all I got to say.
All right. Damn. Well, I'm gonna leave that there. Yeah, it's all good. I hear someone you're saying. I want to ask some questions, but I don't want us to go deep in and leave Iris behind. So, Iris, would you go ahead, please give us your review, and then hopefully we can circle back, and then we can all kind of maybe have a dialogue about some of the stuff.
I need some talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I have never watched. Let me not say never. It is very rare for me that I watch documentaries that bring out so much emotion in me that it ranges from sadness to anger to excitement. Because I can understand how like I felt Stacy's pain. Like I saw it in his face. Like when he's describing what has happened to him, what has happened to basically his baby. That was his baby. And I mean, he did share it with Hammett as well, but I feel like it meant so much more to Stacy. For some reason, I felt a deeper connection there in regards to this company. And like I literally cried during this one. Like, because I felt the pain. I understand, because I have been in a situation myself where not only being a person of color, but also being a woman on top of that, and you do something in the workplace and then that you take pride in, and then someone comes in and takes it over. Now, thankfully it didn't crash and burn, but someone else basically like took credit for what you were trying to do. And I understand what JS1 was saying in regards to like the settings, difference in the backgrounds, how you see, where the black men are, where the white gentleman is, you see the difference. but I felt like that was done on purpose to help set the scene and help set the anger. To bring that out in the audience. Like, look at where this person is and everything that they did and everything that they fucked up. And then the person who was trying to do right and where they're at. And even though, as mentioned, you know, the ending did have a little bit of chipperness to it, it just, the whole process of what they went through, it really angered me. And the funny thing is that through that anger is what made me enjoy this documentary so much. So I feel like this is something that everyone should share. Should see. Um, because it's a relatable situation. It just, and the whole thing, like, it literally, it broke my heart, because it's like having your child taken from you. Something you took care of for 10 years, and then someone just swipes in under you because they trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho and you're not saving anything. So I don't want to go too deep down a rabbit hole because we already have one of those. But I'd have to say, like, this was a very enjoyable documentary. In the beginning, I was a little nervous because I was like, man, this is a little boring. But once you really got to, like, the meat of the story and everything that happened, I was so immersed into the story that even when my daughter was sitting next to me, she's like, Mommy, what's going on? What did they do? And she's only 8. You know? So yeah, this was a very moving piece, and I really do feel like they knew what they were doing, especially when it came to the backgrounds. I feel like that was very much intentional, because it really helped with the emotions that they were trying to bring out in the audience. So that's
All right.
that's all I really have to say about it.
Okay, well said.
Into spoilers.
I want to applaud all of you for not breaking down that we normally struggle and we always slip, and it is like, you know what, floodgates open. But I appreciate everybody hanging in. Okay, the Dad Panther never does. Let's go ahead and let's acknowledge him, please, so he can stop scolding me. All right, but I want to applaud everybody else because, you know, it's easy to get into it talking about this. You know what I'm saying? It's really easy to slip in, and so, but I do want to ask a question though, because I didn't see it the way you saw it, JS, with as far as the way it looked. But I'm not gonna get to that. But that was interesting. Now I got to go back and rewatch it. As far as the way they look, because I actually thought the opposite. I thought that, like, when you saw Mitch sitting there, I thought he looked pretty sad and pathetic, even though everything around him was grand and you see what kind of money he has. But I just thought it was a really uncomplimenting shot of him and his little pop belly. And then I thought the same thing with the other gentleman, Chris, that was originally an investor. You know, he's sitting there looking like he's on his grandma's couch. You know, he didn't look like he was, you know, and some books behind him. Didn't look like he was actually sitting in a life of luxury. And I thought that the brothers lighting was more complimentary, was a lot more modern, sleek. And I don't know, I took the opposite from it. So that's very interesting. But the question I do want to ask, though, you did mention that you thought they spent too much time on what was wrong. But don't you think that
that's the point of the whole story? That's the whole point of the documentary. Okay. I mean, but at the end, if I had sneezed, I would have missed the ending. Like, you know what I mean? It went by so, fast. And I mean, even though, yeah, there was a little bit of dialogue about him. Yeah, we but it wasn't like, yo, this still survives. There's no kind of like, after all he went through, dun, 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 yay! Like trying, you know, hey, I
feel you. I feel you. Because they just triggered something else I want to say. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
We can't really have this conversation because I can't talk about the important element. You know what I mean? But there should have been some regaling of, you know, hey, something. Yes, we're punching into a new future, something. But yeah. Whatever.
Just to kind of piggyback on what you said, I saw the same thing. I loved how the two brothers were showed. Like I'd like more modern, like that cool, I guess not a warm tone, but a cool tone lighting. So I'm like, I thought it was great. I was looking at the office like, oh, they're a nice office, whatever the case is, and I just thought that the director was doing it on purpose, and the director is Black. To my knowledge. Yeah. So and he's produced other stuff, like he did Cash's X was the year before. So I feel like what Iris is saying, it was a nice setup, because for me, visually, you're watching these two people tell this story, and then you're seeing it unfold in front of you. You're like, oh my gosh, that happened. But wait, there's more. And to go to what Jay was saying is, towards the ending, yes, we would have probably liked to see a more detailed, I guess, out of that next chapter that's going to happen, or that's possibly happening, but that's currently still happening. Like they're even in still the investment phase. I went and bought the book of Stacy as soon as the movie finished. And I think the focus was the rise and fall, not the rebirth. So that's why I was appreciative that what we got, instead of a little fade of something you had to read and then go to it. So I thought it was, like I said, well done for that next chapter.
Hey man, everybody's got their point of view. You know what I mean? I just felt like the darkness that you felt was sleek and modern. Yeah. I looked at it as, damn, these two niggas on a plantation trying to get it out the fuck. Nigga, you still in the office? And the white man like, yeah, baby, we good. You know, my belly fat. You know, we're living. You know what I mean? I might be at mama crib, but mama crib down here in Malibu, baby, we good. Like, it just, that's what boiled my oil. Like, these two fuckers, man, they look like they on vacation. And these two niggas, they couldn't even stop working. Look, bro, you got to come in between coding hours. Look, just set the camera up while I'm working. All right, you ready? All right, let's just hold my call, Sally. Yeah, they fucked me. You know what I mean? That's how it just looked like they couldn't take a day off, even for the documentary. So go ahead.
Yeah, so just to add to that, but what I thought was funny about it, at least for me, is that yes, for the Black men, the background was more simplistic, but the lighting and how glowy their skin looked, to me,
I thought it was beautiful.
They looked lovely. And then you see the other gentlemen that just their backgrounds look so lavished, right? But themselves don't look great.
Yeah, most successful white men look like they 1 foot in the grave, but be having billions of dollars. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
That's not what I mean. I don't mean like a physical, like sorry. If they're handsome or what. I mean, right. Like their background is simplistic, but the lighting and how they showed the Stacy and Hammett, they looked great. You know, then the other men, their backgrounds are, all fancy and shit, but they're set up looking like shit practically. So I feel like it was like ironic.
Got you. I didn't see that. I saw something completely different, and it angered me. Yeah. But
everybody needs to put it in the comments and let us know after you watch.
Definitely watch and tell me if I'm right or wrong. And look, I see what I see. I live my own existence. So, like, my anger and resentment towards other cultures it's deeper than this damn documentary we watched. So like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But to go with what Iris is saying, I even at some points was like, man, both these brothers is moisturizing the hell out of their skin. What's their regimen? Like with Stacy's hair being cut, the gray pepper, I'm like, they moisturize. Even though it was a black tee and I think a navy sweater, I was like, I bet that's good quality thread count. And I'm like, I bet they own that office that they're in. And I'm like,
that they couldn't
leave. I bet
leave.
they're still clean. I bet they still, you know, linked up. And they after this, they went ahead and had dinner or something down the street.
That was something I was thinking. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought he was saying they linked up in the next chapter because it was only
no.
venture. Okay. Right.
Yeah, he went to go do a capital project. Diversity.
Hammett's skin looked amazing. He looked
I was like,
so glowy. I was like, shit, I want to know your skin regimen.
Is this a spoilery? This sounds very spoilery. Y'all are giving away mad details.
They've got great skincare.
You talking about outfits and all that. Like, I feel like you getting too far into the weeds on this.
We're about to pull it back.
The outfits in the trailer.
So
it is.
If you made it this far, you know, make sure you like, subscribe, but also you can see this director as a guest on the Indie Show on this coming Tuesday at 8 p.m. He will be a guest, and I will try to join Mastermind to discuss with this gentleman about this documentary. I will do my best. I got to go in at midnight Tuesday night. Working overnight, but so again, bbclife.com, the Indie Show, 8 p.m. live. You guys can actually see the gentleman that directed this as a guest. You can ask some questions if you live in the chat. They keep it jumping, and then maybe we can have a little bit more of a spoiler talk. You know, so you guys tune in too. Get in that chat. All right.
Are we rating?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Is it a classic? Is it a good watch? Is it catch on streaming? Is it not doing it for me? Is it?
Oh, hell no.
Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will. I would like to start with the daddest of Panthers.
It's a classic. It's a classic. I'm not going to waste your time. It's a classic. I hope this director does more things. I'm sure it's going to bring up conversations in business. To be able to see how this was done and put together behind the scenes would be interesting as well. Great job to the crew that put this together.
Love that. Iris, what are you going with, my dear?
And I'm not going to waste your time either. This is a classic. I think I really think that this documentary is like a pop culture within Black history. I think this is a part of our generation. We can say, hey, we were somewhat a part of this because hey, some of us here had movie pass and we didn't even know this crazy shit was going on.
Word. No, I love that. You know what I mean? So, on my wall, it's going to be Obama. It's going to be Jesus and
Stacy.
Stacy and Hammett.
Let's do it. I'm with it. All right, Mr. Lingo.
Is there a reason why Jesus came second on that list?
Not to me, he did.
Not to me, but
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Obama's more relevant. I seen him. I be seeing him. I seen pictures of Jesus. I ain't seen him. You feel me? Okay. So like, he's still my man, though.
Yeah, he's still on the list. He still made the list.
He's still my man, 50 grand. And Stacy, you know what I mean? Salute, my nigga. All right. So, what's your rating?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a classic.
All right, let's go.
Yes. And I want to give it a classic. You know, I thought, like I said, it was done when it told the whole story, and a little selfish part of me loved the fact that you got to see the people that caused the problem eat their words. You know, have to sit there and admit that they dropped the ball on this, and then for one person to realize that the next person he had brought in was screwing him too, and so that was rewarding to me. So that to get that whole story is classic.
I feel like you just giving away more and more. We inching towards problematic area. That's not bad.
My bad.
The deems to be okay versus not okay. All right, you please write it out next time because I don't get this shit. All right, so this is a catch on streaming for me. No, I'm just playing. It's a classic, nigga. We good. We good. Shout out to the. Now that I know that it's a black person, my heart rate, goes down a few slots. You feel me? Like if I found out that the whites had organized this, it would. I don't know. It might have been a revolt. So like shout out to black. Hey, look, black people can exploit black people as much as you want to. It's just can't have the other way around. So anyway,
funny that you still feel like it's an exploitation.
Yes, I'm like, what are you looking
go
at?
back and watch it again.
We're gonna watch it
But
again.
if we do a vote, the real crew here, three out of 4 thought their setup was nice.
Yo, shout out to y'all, and you can take a vote. I'm still gonna feel the way I feel. Like, it's what it is.
Like,
I'm a weirdo. I didn't say you're lying. You guys could be right. I'm just telling you how while I was watching it, how it made me feel. And I feel like that's an important part of, being somebody that watches films and talks about it. Like, I gotta be able to have my own emotion about it. And like that was crazy. And I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. I didn't completely hate the white dudes. Like I didn't like the one guy. I knew from the beginning when they brought him in.
I gotta watch it now. I gotta watch it because
I'm not about to say that. All I'm gonna say is I didn't totally hate the white dudes and everything they did. I didn't really beef with. There was a clear point when they went off the rails, but I understood what they were trying to do. Like I understood what they were trying to do, and it was just like. You were trying to make the turn too soon. Like, you know what I mean? Once again, there's so many conversations we can have, and I wish we could fucking have this conversation.
Let me co-sign you because Dad Panther judging you. But there was some logic in the beginning that was sound. There was a logic and there was theory that was sound. It was just the execution. But there was some sound logic on what they were trying to do. Even
when it started going crazy, I could understand what they were trying to do. It just was bad timing, and not enough sure footing. You can't, man. Well, anyway, let's just move on.
All right. So listen, we want to thank y'all for joining us. This is again the Movie Pass, Movie Crash on Real Reviews, bbclife.com. And don't forget to, after watching this review, then Tuesday, 8 p.m. live at bbclife.com, the indie show with Mastermind, where he will get deeper into interviewing the director of this documentary. All right?
Thanks.
Everybody have a good night.